Welcome to the Etobicoke-Lakeshore podcast. Oh yes, it's still up and running. Of course, it's happening with social distancing in mind. Hi, I'm Mike Wixon. Right there is Roger Tumanieri, publisher of the Etobicoke-Lakeshore Press. How are you, buddy?
I am great. Thanks, Mike.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Good.
It's so funny. At any time, we could either have a kid burst in or a dog. I promise you, when we get back to the studio, that won't be the case. That charm will all be lost. As everybody is watching the news, by the way, if I can just touch on this, the news is an interesting thing because we see it, it's on 24 hours a day, but they have to fill that up, of course, with news. And so if I make a recommendation as an old media guy, I'll watch the news once a day for an hour. That's all they deserve of your time. Not much else changes. And if your government needs you to know anything, they certainly text it to you with no problem now. So you're in no imminent danger just getting on with life. Okay?
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy to get sucked in these days into a negative news cycle. And that's unfortunately all we hear. And I get it. I understand why. But that's why I want to take a different tack. Everyone else seems to be zigging and you and I are zagging. So let's focus on some positive things. And let's get some messages of hope to our listeners.
And we're going to do it at the local level of government today. Mark Grimes will be our guest, city councillor. And I will tell you this, it's an interesting relationship. I know that you have. You guys have known each other for some time, of just being in that neighborhood and him representing. But I look forward to this perspective because he's such a community guy, but also with an eye on the economy, which everybody's worried about. He's always someone good to speak to that because he has that experience.
Yeah, Mark is he's a smart guy. He's quite the representative for Etobicoke-Lakeshore. He's a homegrown guy. People love Mark. He's exactly the type of guy you want to be representing you at that local level in good times and especially in crisis.
All right. Well, without further ado, please join us, Councillor Mark Grimes. Councillor, thanks so much for joining us this morning as we record this. Of course, as I mentioned, Roger is certainly a fan of yours in the neighborhood because of the community efforts that you've made, the amount of time that you've been serving this part of the community. How are you holding up?
Holding up. Good morning, Roger. Good morning, Mike. Thanks for having me on. I wish we were on here talking about a Maple Leaf playoff run. That's what we should be talking about right now. But unfortunately, the realities are we're talking about COVID-19, and I'm just happy to join here and get the proper information out to just my people in Ward 3, but also anybody listening in the city of Toronto or the surrounding region. Like it's unprecedented times. I have to tell you that, but craziness. It's like a bad dream.
It is for everybody. Let's go back to kind of the beginning on the city having to deal with this. This must have had to come together very quickly. What did all that feel like from a councillor's standpoint?
Well, we saw it happening in China and people, kind of saying, hey, that's over in China. It's not happening here. And then we started seeing the cases starting to trickle into North America. And then it started hitting home in Toronto. Meetings being canceled, and we're hearing from our medical officer of health for council. It came to us very quickly, but to the people, I think they still didn't see the reality of really what's happening. I still think, I think 95% of people are getting it now, but there's still that 5% out there that aren't getting it. But these are just unbelievable, unprecedented times. I thought, I'd seen it all back in probably for Roger's time being here. I remember the Mississauga train derailment. Before that, Pittsburgh paint fire. These are big events that kind of happened in our area, but geez, no one saw this coming, and it's just crazy times.
It seems that the message continually out there is stay home, make sure that you follow the 3 steps of social distancing and cleanliness. But as we kind of talked about just before we got going here, not everybody is participating in this, and the small pockets that aren't, they're putting a lot of people in danger. What's the status on that right now, and how does the city feel about this?
Well, we got an awesome emergency operations center downtown. We're in contact with them every day. I'm in contact with them every day. I'm in contact with the mayor. I'm waiting for a call back from the mayor today. I've talked to our premier on a number of occasions. I've talked to our city manager. I've I've talked to, like I said, the Emergency Operations Center on a daily basis through the emails, but we got a good handle on it. But it's, the medical officer health is asking us. We just put new restrictions in yesterday. We're going 12 weeks, which brings us to the end of June. And, they're asking you, please, if you need groceries, just go out once a week. Don't go out every day. If you need medications, you got to go pick those up. That's why you should be leaving your home. And if you're walking your dog, I can tell you, Roger, Mike, at our house, we have a dog. We got a small petting zoo. We've got 4 cats and a dog. Everyone's fighting to walk the dog. So, but those are the 3 ones you're going out for. Groceries once a week, picking up your medications, and possibly walking dog. Obviously practicing safe distancing. 6 meters for Roger being an old guy. He probably needs his feet. So probably not 6 feet or 2 meters. But, for people who don't get that, it's a hockey stick length that we should be away. Now, if you're with your family, that live in your house, you don't have to be that. But, practicing social distancing and physical are a must. And that's what we're asking. So those measures, the 12-week measures that the medical officer put in, that brings us to the end of June. We had it April 6th. Now it's off to the end of June. And if we don't get this right, that other 5% I think out there that don't get it, we're going to lose our summer. And I know people don't want that, but we're getting the message out, and we need people to adhere to what we're getting the advice from our medical officer health, not only at the province and the province and the city. We have to listen to what the professionals are saying.
Mark, is there a possibility if we get ahead of this in some manner that 12 weeks could turn to 10, could turn to less in some way?
You know what? That's for the professionals to say. I don't know. I would hope that. I think people are hoping for that. But right now, this is what we're going with the 12 weeks.
Yeah.
And, I'd love it to get better. Roger will tell you, I'm blessed to represent a waterfront ward. And we have amazing 3 major parks. Murray Curtis Park down on the far west end of the ward. We got Colonel Sampson Park in the middle of the ward. Then we've got Humber Bay Park east and west. Now, people love to gravitate to those parks. They're regional parks. People come down there, but now people are still heading down to these parks. I spent the last few days securing our parks, working with other councillors on the other end of the spectrum. Brad Bradford and Gary Crawford, they have waterfront parks, experiencing the same difficulties I am. People just want to go down to these parks. We've barricaded them off. People are now just parking where the barricades are. So we're asking people stay away from these waterfront parks. Get your car and go park, somewhere in a neighborhood you've never really walked through. Go and walk through there. But everyone wants to gravitate to these waterfront parks, which is becoming a big problem. The better weather is coming, and as that is coming, people are still tending to want to go down there. So we're asking you to stay away from the waterfront parks. We're barricading them off. The parks are closed. Now, on that note, people have to get out and, exercise. And, you're especially down Humber Bay Shores area where people are in condos, some of them very small condos, but if you are going out, our playgrounds are absolutely closed. You don't want your children playing on a playground that has not been sanitized. So we've roped those off with tape, but people are still taking those tape barricades down. It's ridiculous who's doing that. Our skateboard parks are closed. Do not go in our skateboard parks. So if you are going to walk through the park with your dog, our dog parks are closed. Do not go to the dog parks. But if you're going to walk your dog, walk through the park, make sure you're away from everybody else. You can do that. Some of the questions I'm getting, guys, and I just put this communication out yesterday. Is like, I'll just go kind of so, okay, can I walk through the park? You can walk, with members of your household, but practicing safe distancing. Stay 2 meters away. And the other one I'm getting, can I ride my bike? Yes, you can ride your bike as long as you're by yourself with people from your home. Make sure you practice safe distancing. Can I walk my dog through the park on a leash? Yes, you can. Not off leash, but the same thing, social and distancing. Can my kids play in the park? Yes, but not on playgrounds, not with other kids. So these are kind of, very common sense.
But, it's funny that you bring those up, because as humans, if we're going to follow the rules, we tend to go, okay, I'm not going to leave my house at all then. Or, there's the other, somewhere in the middle is the ideal person that says, okay, I can go out and have a walk with my family, go for a bicycle ride by myself, take the dog, but just keep myself from other people and don't allow my kids to climb on stuff that could be covered in this virus. That, you're right, is common sense, but it's nice to hear an official say, yeah, go ahead and get outside, but do it sensibly within this realm. Of course, going to those parks is going to be a temptation for everybody at the waterfront. But please, common sense, and we do want the summer. I love that you put it that way too. We're either going to do this right or we're going to lose our summer. So let's do this right.
And Mike, you should only be leaving your house if you do not have the virus, you've not been exposed to the virus, or someone has been exposed to the virus. You've not traveled in the last 14 days, and you're under the age of 70. You should be. That's the only reason you should be leaving the house. If you're over 70, you should not be leaving the house. And that's another thing I've asked people through my social media platforms is, check on your neighbor, your senior neighbor. We don't want the seniors venturing into these grocery stores. We can go pick them up, whatever they need, and drop it on their front porch. That's what we want. We don't want our seniors going in. So, we're seeing a lot of that in our area. And Roger will tell you, living down here, it's a great neighborhood. Just not down on the south end, the whole Ward 3. People are great. Neighbors helping neighbors, and that's what it's all about. So we've seen lots of great positive stuff on that. But
having my studio in that area, I'll tell you that what I've noticed, and Roger, you and I have talked about this as well. There is a community there of business people and an established community there that supports those business people. And I mentioned this to you, Roger. I said, this is tough in your community where it might not be as difficult in others because you're also used to doing things together still. And that is unusual in a big city. But just keeping an eye out for one another. Now, how to do that safely? Is it just a matter of a knock on the door, step back, you think, and make sure that you're, or just give them a quick call if you've got their number?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Check in your neighbors, pick up the phone, call a neighbor. I've been last couple of days, at nighttime. I'm sick of watching the Clint Eastwood reruns on TV. So I pick up the phone and talking to people I haven't talked to in a long time. But Roger will tell you, and Mike, I don't know if you live down in the area, but I know your business, you got a great business on 30th Street there. But it is like a small town. People come here like in regular time and say, I can't believe this area. It's kind of like, I walk down the street. I went to school here. I went to high school here. I grew up here. I've got 5 kids. My wife was growing up here. So when I walk down the street, everyone kind of knows me, which is great. It's a small town. But what we're on right now, this Zoom, is a great way to communicate. Yeah. And I can tell you, I worked on the floor of the stock exchange for 13 years, and it closed back many years ago. But the old floor on Bay Street, I organized the 20th anniversary years ago. I did the 25th anniversary. Well, the 30th anniversary is coming up, and we couldn't get together. So I got a hold of everybody from the stock exchange. We did on Saturday night, we did a Zoom a party reunion, and it was absolutely fantastic. I think we had 40 plus people kind of come on. Yeah. Very short notice. We set it up that day around the afternoon, but we had the big screen here and seeing people I hadn't seen in a long time. So those are the ways you can do it. The Zoom has kind of just come out of nowhere. It's kind of a great way to do it. But yeah, pick up the phone, talk to somebody. I see a lot of neighbors conversing on the streets where I am up here in Alderwood. They are practicing, the safe distance and chatting as they pass. And, it's trying times, but we will get through it.
Mark, I think it's going to bring people together more than ever. Once all this goes away, I think people are going to realize how important community really is.
I think we will get through it. But I said, it's the importance of staying home. I just heard this morning, 1 in 10 cases are healthcare workers that would have this. I mean, that is 1 in 10, and that number could climb, right?
Yeah.
And
we need them.
Alarming.
We need them safe in our community and to be looking out for them. They truly are. And by the way, a shout out to everybody working in the health field at all, whether you're a doctor or in the hospitals or wherever. It seems like that community is rallying and that sector is rallying like we have never seen before. And so hats off to those heroes trying to save the day.
Yeah, and on those frontline workers, Mike, it's the doctors and nurses on the front lines, but also we got the people working at the grocery stores. They're checking your groceries every day. The truckers, I own a transportation business that are keeping the supply chain going. These truckers are out there, keeping the supply chain going. There's many people on the front line. And I was thinking about this the other day. Our restaurants and Roger's how we're big shop local down here. So I'm asking our people, if you're going to order out, please order locally to our restaurants. I heard a number, 20% of our restaurants in the city are probably not going to reopen. Yeah. 20% of not reopen after this is over. That's alarming. That is completely alarming. So, we just have to absorb the information that's coming in on a daily basis. And I ask people, for the best way to get information for me was go to the City of Toronto website. That's where you should be going. I think it's www.toronto.ca//COVID-19. That is probably a great way to get it. Going to my website, www.markgrimes.ca. That's accurate information we're putting up. We're not putting anything that's not verified that goes up on there. I have a Facebook platform, on Twitter and Facebook. My Facebook page, I think over this short period of this COVID episode, I'm calling it, I think I've reached 140,000 people, which is huge.
Wow.
We would never have that, but people are watching our page. But also a really good way to get the information on a daily basis. I go to CP24 around 2:30, 2:45, and the mayor's on there with our medical officer of health is on there. Chief Peg is on there. That's a great way. That's current information is coming. It's accurate information. But, those are the places to go to get the accurate information. There's a lot of, hate to use this, Roger, fake news out there, Mike, but, people are putting stuff up. Here's a cure for the, listen, make sure, and people are sharing that, which is disturbing. We have to let's listen to the professionals. Those are the ones that are going to give the right information, and we got to adhere to it, or we're going to be here for a very long time.
We had a chat about this just before you joined us, and I recommended, having been in media for a bunch of years, that a 24-hour news cycle has to be filled with a lot of information, and very, very rarely is it presented concisely and accurately. And so to check in with the mayor, who has the official information, if you're going to check in once a day, that I would recommend would be a great way to do it. You're going to find out localized information. You're going to find out the latest medical news. They're going to share with you the most accurate, info. So yes, if you're going to make time for news, I'd recommend that's probably the best one to catch, and then get back to your day.
Yeah, and the mayor is getting his marching orders from the medical officer of health. He said that time again. Mayor Tory said that we're taking the advice of the professionals. You heard Premier Ford, which I talk to almost every other day. He's also relying on the province's medical officer of health. That's where we're getting the information. That's what we're relying on. That's what we're adhering to. And if we don't listen to them, we're going to be in here longer than, like I told you. We want to save our summer. So the sooner people get what these people are saying to us, the sooner we're going to be out of this, but we will get through it.
I think we should be selling Save Summer t-shirts like Save Ferris. It's an old movie reference. Whatever, guys. Sorry about that. Well, listen, Mark, thank you so much for joining us. Wishing you and your family happiness together as all of us are bundled up like tight families for the first time, maybe in some of our entire lives. We are often distracted. I hope that you get a little bit of peace in your day every day to just enjoy that, and that we're out of this quickly. I hope that you'll join us again as we proceed through this process as well.
Mike, Roger, my pleasure. If I just can finish off, though, I just want to say to the residents of my ward, our neighbors and friends, and to the people across the city, our Emergency Operations Center, we have a big professional team there looking after us day in, day out. They are amazing. They're working long hours, but we will get through this. I can tell you we'll get through this. We're going to get through it. But I said we have a really amazing team at the province. All levels of government are working together. I talk to MP Maloney every day. I'm in contact with our MPP, Christine Hogarth. So all levels of government are firing on all cylinders together, which is great to see. But we will get through this, guys. So thanks for having me on. And hopefully we'll be talking about getting the Leafs back on the ice and get some basketball playing and baseball and whatever people want to see, and start enjoying our community once again.
Thanks for your leadership. We appreciate it, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Councillor Mark Grimes joining us today on the Etobicoke-Lakeshore podcast. Well, that was very informative, Roger. There's no denying.
No. And Mark's a great guy to talk to. He's really the voice of the people in Etobicoke-Lakeshore. He's very much on the ground with his constituency. They know him and they love him. And he's a great leader for Etobicoke-Lakeshore.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Okay, look, the other thing that he mentioned to us, and it's worth mentioning to you, is that his office is open. They are taking your calls and providing information 7 days a week. So if you need to reach out to Councillor Grimes, he's there for you. He's there, and
he's very accessible over social media as well. He sends out weekly e-newsletters, which have become, I think, more frequent throughout this pandemic. So he is certainly engaged, and he's an easy guy to reach out to and get a hold of. Like you said, his staff have all raised their hands to say, yeah, we're good to go 24/7. So reach out to Mark and his staff if you have questions pertaining to Ward 3.
What an amazing community. All right, look, go to check out the most recent edition of Etobicoke-Lakeshore Press, and you'll find it at etobicoke-lakeshorepress.com. Subscribe to this show, share it with a friend or a neighbor in the area that needs to be kept in the loop. That's what we're doing here, and we'll be doing it with more frequency. Roger, thank you so much, man.
Thank you, Mike.